Right, I think I'm on. I'm going to do a bit of adjustment, and I see the three of you have found here, which is great. Allow me to do a bit of adjustment. Right, I think you can see me. This is good news. And I'm actually using a phone. And excuse me while I play with the gizmos here to get this right, because I'm trying to avoid distractions. And I forgot, as I'm using the phone to actually talk to you, I forgot to switch the phone off. So I hope nobody makes a phone call. If they do, as far as I'm concerned, they should be watching this rather than trying to phone me. So I haven't prepared anything for this. There's no script, so this is going to be kind of off the cuff, kind of welcoming to the Sunday sessions, which I'll start proper with the Us and Trees, What Can We Do, next Sunday at 2 p.m. and hopefully the day is like this. It's clouding over a little bit. There's a hazy sun. Oh, typical, there's someone trying to phone me already. Right, I've knocked that one off. Someone tried to phone me through this. So, hello. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to all of you in the UK and through Ireland especially. Bit awkward how you're doing this, and hope you found a way to share your love. And I appreciate you being here amongst all the mothering thoughts and actions that you may be doing. I hope you're having a glorious day. And of course, the other thing with a day like this is a lot of you were saying, this is time to spend in the garden, the planting of trees especially, and the various other plants, the veggies, your raised beds, good time to get started. Potatoes will be going in, and these are the wonderful things that are obviously happening that people have time to do. They can focus on, they're not rushed, and we are in a time of opportunity as well as panic. Is panic the right word? No, I don't like using the word panic. Let's look at the whole opportunity thing, because this is really going to be a theme that's going to be running through the Sunday sessions with the different topics. The topics of the Sunday sessions are taken from my books, either written, published, or kind of a little bit in the head. A lot of you are familiar with my Bathing in the Phased Breath, and that's part of a bathing series. The one I'm working on, been trying to get it out, is the Bathing Our Roots, and it's very much of our time, and in fact the Us and Trees has a lot to do with it. And then there's bathing with the Sheila and bathing among the Ashlings. So a lot of the subjects coming up are going to be focused on this, on little topics from my writings there, and hopefully there's with the recorded, with the live sessions that we're doing now, that we can include some of your work, and I'll be explaining this on the events pages, and in a moment I'll try and explain a little more about that. To actually see what's going on, you're at the events page now, and somehow here, if you go to the Carrowcrory Cottage and Labyrinth Garden page and you click events, you can actually see what's coming up. And if I do that myself, just to remind me what the heck is going on, yes, I'm clicking events. I haven't got any stuff to flash across the stream for you. It has, of course, it has a load of rows. Next week's the Us and Trees, What We Can Do. On Sunday the 9th of April, there's the Bathing with the She, which is a folklore-based visualization, so there'll be a bit of story in that. And then on the 19th of April, it's going to be the Introduction to the Orm. And last year, Introduction to the Orm and Bathing with the She were both very popular, so I hope you can take advantage of that this year. Those of you who want a repeat of that over the live, and those of you who never actually got to those, will be very interested. Also, if you go to carrowcrorycottage.com, and I'll put a link under this video when it's archived, you can actually go to Sunday sessions and get a list of what's coming up. But universally, all of these sessions I think are very fitting, because the one thing that people have an opportunity to do right now is they've got time to kind of reflect, and that reflection, I find, is very much the Us and Trees and what I'm coming out with the next book, the Bathing Our Roots. It's a time really, I believe, to bathe our roots. It is a time when I think we're resetting our consciousness. A lot of people find themselves in the darkness, and of course a lot of people, when they find themselves in the darkness, that's where people can find the fear and the concern, and they just want to crawl out and get into that light again. They want to get amongst the people, they want to socialize and do the things they've done. But the light is what comes from our consciousness. Another thing that's happening right now, because you're not at work, you're not going, perhaps not going to church, you're not going to places where when you're present, people are telling you what to do, how to behave, and commanding your life. Of course, there's some rules with the virus that's going around, but when we are at home and in our space, those rules are sort of there, but it's our own morality that takes over. And when our own morality takes over, I think that's when we look to our instincts, our inspiration, and we actually get to trust those. And that's why I think people think this time is a great time to be on holiday. This happened in Italy. We saw the photographs of people in Glendalough. Hi, we've been let off our regular routine. Let's go on holiday. But of course, at this time, going on holiday is not to go out to where a crowd is. I always believe that a good holiday, a good vacation, is when you actually allow yourself to retreat away from that world we live, of where we live according to what we're being told what to do. We trust that because we feel that is living our life for service. I've had a few debates about this, and some people were very concerned about self-isolation and social distancing, as if it's obsessive, that it's selfish, and you're no longer serving people. But of course you are. You're serving people by separating from them, so that they don't get the bug. I did read a letter in the Irish Times from a doctor who stated that many people want to be volunteers, want to be on the front line, but the best way that we can be on the front line is actually help them by isolating, so they haven't got so much work to do by us picking up bugs from mixing around. So from this isolation, I recommend, and this is going around on the social media, that really take this opportunity to find out where your conscience is, catch up with those things you've been meaning to do, the book you meant to write, the plants you were going to do, the raised beds you were going to build, the series of artwork, the book that you was going to write. All of these things that are coming from that, I suppose, the darkness of yourself, from your own conscience, from your own inspiration, from your own imagination, and use those. And may I invite you that when you use those and put stuff together, make a wee video and then contribute it to these Sunday sessions, because I'm going to do a bit of talking from 2 o'clock. I've already gone on too long, I think, for this session. But after then, it would be nice to actually have some other voices, because it must be quite boring just seeing my mug. I know this is pretty. We're lucky we're outside, and this is pretty in the tree labyrinth, the centre of it, in this willow dome, which is very much in its winter state. The buds are here, but the leaves are not out. So you can only have so much of that. It'd be nice to have other voices, other situations, and I'll be leaving information about how you can submit that. And it'd be nice if we can have a sequence of other voices with poems, with short stories and thoughts over the subject that's coming up. And as I say, the next week is the Us and Trees. So come up with your poems and your stories and even your personal experiences of your time with trees, especially if you've been planting trees or thinking about it or sharing trees with others, or you've attracted more wildlife. And this includes hedges. Have you been planting trees? Have you been planting small trees to create hedges so you can attract the wildlife and the birds, and especially the insects as well as planting more flowers. So think about that and add to that. And I think I've really given enough food for thought for a few minutes there. What is the time now? Oh goodness me, I've been rattling on for about 10 minutes. I think that's enough for this session, so it's a couple of minutes more. So look at, go to those links. I'll go and be post more, see what's coming up for Us and Trees next week, and then for the She one after that. Think about your experience with the Fey world with the She's, and we'll put that together and we'll work on that in a couple of weeks' time. So this is where we are. This is in a way a bit self-indulgent, because I wanted to see if this would work out here. I usually, when I do videos, I've been using a video camera, I've been using one of these iPads, but I wanted to use the phone this time because it's nice and portable. And then there was the challenge of, how do I get the phone linked up to you? And I did explain that I needed a line of sight Wi-Fi, because there's barely any 3G, never mind 4G in this area, so I couldn't broadcast on that. So way over in that direction there's a modem from the studio hanging out the window, and then back up here between this tree labyrinth garden and the triple spiral above, there's a seat, and I've actually got a receiver booster on that that's linking up with the studio and passing down here. So I hope you've been able to see and hear things okay. Thank you for joining, and trust in your inspiration, trust in your conscience, indulge in that dark side. You're not dealing with the devil or anything sinister. I believe that light and dark, they're together. In a way, we're going through that whole midwinter story where we're taking the debris of who we were and what's broken up, what's stopped, and everything seems to be a mess. The life we'd led is as if it's shattered, it's in pieces. Don't sulk and be concerned about that. It's thinking, what's left that's useful? Give yourself a baptism. I think this is a great water time, and a time that you can actually baptize yourself, indulge yourself in the sort of ebb and flow of your conscience. Allow your own inner voice that you've been putting down. Oh no, my wee voice is not worthy. You know, you've got to follow other things. I don't know if you've seen on the Facebook where I actually posted that meme of where this is an opportunity where we are grown up rather than worship things in the sky. So take advantage of this, create what you do, and it's almost as if it's your spring all over again. And I trust you remain healthy through all this. I wish you all the best through this, and I kind of invited you to submit poems and stories, and usually when I do recordings I just realized I kind of do this sort of thing as well, because we used to do the Tale of the Trees. I wasn't prepared for this, so I'm trying to find what on earth where it is. I'd like to share something now, because I'm talking about this as being a time of bathing, and say this is really your own baptism, and there's no gender with baptism. It is you, it is the water, and it's the indulgence. And it's quite intriguing. I'm pulling up, I haven't got a new poem for this time, but I'm pulling up something from the Almost Tale of the Trees within the Bathing in the Fae's Breath book. And here I am sat amongst this centre, this retreat, this tree sanctuary of willow. And the willow is regarded as a tree that is the conduit between the moon and the water. And when Claire and I do this together, Claire's not here today, but if she is here, she will be joining in on these Sunday sessions. But Claire actually plays the tune of Down the Sally Gardens to this. So if you can imagine that tune in the background, This is Sally the Willow. Sally's the willows, the conduit between the moon and the water, and the percussion of the tides of life. The ebbs peaking to touch both worlds of so on and so on, a time now called Belthany, the 2 times of the year when the salmon fish challenge the upstream. Then relax into the flows of each equinox, when our wisdom of change must be our own. A flow time when no Sally leaf has been born yet, but is eager to be. A flow time when no Sally leaf has fallen, but embraced by the sun, is called upon to join the regenerating earth once more. Sallies tease childhood fantasies and enchant our waking dreams as we pass by. Sallies speak to us. It's why harp makers make sound boxes from them. We weave sallies to weave in our wishes and prayers, to be released at the ebbs of the meeting worlds. We wear sallies to attract friendship and love, that graft us to an instinct of honor. So sallies, please breathe on us. It was to hear that your spirit guided us, to hear where our names are blessed upon us, to hear where the water you share baptizes us, to hear where you charm us into accepting who we are and who we will become. So here's wishing you that through this downtime you actually become you. Enjoy this resurrection of self, your isolation, your connection with life, and connection with all you do. And I think I've said enough today. Hopefully I'll see you next week when we're discovering the she. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. I'm going to get straight out. I'm going to get right out into this gardening now. Thank you.